In this activity, we are going to begin learning the language CSS, Cascading Style Sheets, which is the language that is used to add style to web pages. So far, we've added content, and then HTML to the content to add structure, and now we're going to use CSS to add style. Make sure you've downloaded the files as outlined so that you're ready to go, and work with me. As I add things, you add things, and build your web page as you go. So what we need to do now is to start with, notice that adding style.html just has the regular markup that we're accustomed to. Let's look at this file, style.css. So .css is the extension that we use for CSS files. And we start here with a comment. So this is really a comment that I've added at the top of this file. And I've added some color codes in here. And we'll be talking about these in a while. This is how you do CSS comments with the /* for an opening comment and a */ for a closing comment. I can spend a lot of time on color. So once I get color all set up, I record those values in my style sheet so I don't have to go back and redo that. So what we want to do is learn how is it that we do style rules. So a style rule consists of several parts. So it has a selector, opening curly brace, closing curly brace, and then a declaration group. And that is just simply a declaration block. And that's just a series of declarations. So here is, I'm going to start with one property called the background color. And this will let you know right away, you can tell what that background color does. And I'm going to use a hex color code. So FF0000. And I'm going to save that and go look at the page. So here, if I refresh the page, notice that nothing has happened. So what we have to do, we have two files. We have our .html file, we have our .css file, and notice that they're in the same location. So what we need to do now is to connect them. So in our HTML file, we need to tell the browser about the CSS file. And to do that, we use a link tag. So go to the adding style.html, and up in the head section, that means before the body, we need to add a link tag. And this link tag, what autofills for me a lot of it, its relationship is style sheet, its type is text/CSS, and then we want to put in here the href. And this is just like all the other local addresses that we've done, a relative address. We just say from where you are, look for this file. So we're in the HTML file, and we just look where we are, and we want to find this file, style.css. And so my href is style.css. Notice that that file name can be whatever we want it to be. And now I save it. And this is really linking. We'll link this style sheet with this. Remember that we've used a linking tag before when we did icons. So very similar as far as the attributes that we have used. Now when we refresh it, notice we get style. So we know, what do we know? We know how to link an HTML file to a CSS file. And we know that background color sets the background. And we know that the color code FF0000 stands for red. This is a hex color code, and the first 2 digits in the hex color code identifies how much red. Since it's hex, the digits go from 0 to F. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we have more, so we go A, B, C, D, E, F, and that gives us 16 different digits. So the first one is red. So let's turn the red down to 0, the smallest number, and the middle one up to the highest number, which is 2 Fs, and see what that gives us. And there we get green. So the middle two numbers are identify how much green. Let's go ahead and find out what the last 2 digits identify. And you can try this on your own. You can really see what's happening as you add these, and there's blue. So the color codes that we use in web development are red, green, and blue. Actually, there's another couple varieties, but the kind that we'll be using are made up of red, green, blue values. First 2 digits for red, second 2 digits for green, and third 2 digits for blue. Now notice that none of these colors are good for a background, right? Much too bold, much too bright. Don't make a good background. So let's go ahead and pick one of our colors up here. And I'm just going to go ahead and take this basic blue color code and put it there. Notice you need to have the pound sign and then that 6-digit color code. And I can refresh. And there we get kind of a light bluish gray background. So now that's a little bit more subtle, and now you can see what that background looks like. All right, so we know a little bit about colors. We'll learn a whole bunch more about those as we go. And we know about a property. So let's go one more time over the vocabulary. This is a style rule. This is a selector, and it identifies what elements in the HTML file to select. Then this is a declaration, and a declaration is made up of 2 parts. It has the property and the value, and those property value pair is separated by the colon. And as we learn properties and what values there are allowed for that property, we can apply style to any combination of elements in the HTML file. All right, so now we've done it to the body, and you understand that the body contains everything on the web page. So we see that background color being applied to everything.